DIY turtleneck part 1. Things you'll need: sewing machine, 2 different rulers, scissors, maybe a French curve, some fabric, couple soft tapes, and something to write on. You're going to want to measure yourself and record all of the stuff. That's your bust measurement. Next is the waist. Then we've got the neck because, well, turtleneck. Around the thickest part of your arm, just under the armpit. Make sure you flex. And then we've got to take what's called the sleeve cap. It's from the straight off point of your shoulder down. We're going to go underneath that tape for a 5. Yeah, same thing off the edge for the total length of the sleeve. You can tell I'm grabbing it at my wrist there. It's nice and straight. Then we want the second thickest part of the arm. Maybe we'll give it a little bit of a taper. Not much. Yes, this one's a 2-part measurement. We're going to go from the shoulder straight down to the pubic bone. We're going to mark where the intersects with the bust line, and then we're going to go straight on down to where the shirt's going to end, or above where the pubic bone is if you want the shirt to end higher than that. That circle there is called the apex. I forgot to record that measurement. That's just as much as you can get with your arm down. Then we mark our center line. This is going to be longer than any of the measurements. And then we mark the very top, just so we have a reference. 10 inches down is our bust line. And then we've got the very bottom. We take our bust and we divide it by 2 is 18 for the one side, and then we divide it by 2 again to give us the center. We go 9 inches on either side of the center line and we mark. Then we take the waist, 28 divided by 2 for each side is 14 per side, divided by 2 is 7 for our center. And just you'll want to measure how far down your waist is from your bust. I'm at about 7 inches because that's just where I'm at. Then you mark another line. Wee lines. Yeah, then you mark a line at the bottom. Hip and bust are usually about the same. We're going to mark a dotted line across the obligatory top. It was just random. We took 10 inches down from somewhere. And then I'm going to go 1.5 inches or so down from the center line at the top. And I'm going to call that the back of my collar. That's the one I'll cut out for the back of the shirt. It's rather shallow. I've decided to go a total of 5 inches, 2.5 inches per side, 3 inches across, so we go 6, and then I take a minute or 2 to line this one up, but because I did a total of 5 and my measurement was 13, we now have 8, so I'm splitting it 4 and 4. I'm not marking any of my seam allowances because you're going to mark those later. I want the shaping to be on the actual measurements, and then you just add seam allowance after, because this is where all of your seams are going to go. This is what shape you're going to end up with. Ta-da! Front and back neck hole. Now I'm going to go 1 inch down from the obligatory top, and then we're going to take the shoulder span, which is the same as the bust, and we're going to mark a diagonal line from the neck hole. And so because my arm slot was 16, we divide that by 2 for each side, which is 8, and I'm just marking 8 inches on what I think would be, yeah, I turn it there because I'm like, you could do whatever. Yeah. Yes. And then I would suggest just marking some kind of like guidelines, not necessarily connected to your points just yet, and then just cleaning up the edges and marking them a little bit more close to your points. You just kind of match it up